And then moving on the firepower on this thing, this is the 75mm 43M cannon, and these are the rounds that will be firing. The 43M Panzer grenade, armor piercing cap ballistic cap shell that pans up to 145mm of armor, with only 17 grams of explosive mass. Get the shit out of here, buddy. Really? Really? Get everybody except the gunner. Again. Hi, did you miss me? You see, guys, this is what happens when you don't feed your Panzer IV. It becomes very hungry. Hey guys, it's Jim here, then welcome back to War Thunder. And in today's video, we are checking out a tank that I've been eyeing for some time, ever since he was added in one of the previous updates. This is the Hungarian this is the Hungarian Turan III medium tank, and I would describe this thing as a lighter, more mobile version of the Panzer IV, or maybe rather the Panzer IV F2 with additional armor. And this tank is actually a really nasty piece of work. And it's definitely a very welcome addition to the Italian Tech tree, especially since you're stuck using something like the Sherman or the Chaffee, as well as going up from 3.7 to 4.0 or 4.7. Some of these vehicles are not exactly beginner friendly, I would say. And now let me break it down to you, and then I'll show you why the Turan III should not be underestimated. Now first things first, the armor. Unfortunately, armor is really not looking too good. 75mm upper front plate here, that has very little slope, I would say. So that means even at battle rating 4.0, there's a lot of guns that can easily chew through this. As well as your turret, only 75mm around here. Unless of course the enemy shooting at you are dumb enough to hit areas like this right here, 25mm sitting on top of 50mm right here. Or this 25mm plate right here sitting on top of 50mm plate, as you can see. But I highly doubt that because these areas are not exactly hard to miss, unfortunately. And then if you're thinking, hey, it's a 75mm upper front plate, I can just angle, right? No, not happening. Again with the corner wedges, man. What's with tank designers and the corner wedges? Anyway, if you're thinking, oh, I have this additional side armor that can pump it up to 40mm of armor, right? Again, like, enemy gets onto your sides, you're basically screwed, and I believe these things are more for infantry anti-tank weapons, like the rocket launchers and whatnot. Not so much for tank shells, unfortunately. So yeah, don't count on this thing blocking anything anytime soon. So if lack of armor and protection, so unfortunately it doesn't, so on paper it doesn't really seem like it's a very good protection on this thing. But the good news is that what makes up for this thing's survivability in terms of armor, it makes up for it in crew space. As you can see, this is actually a very big and spacious tank, to the point where sometimes whenever enemy shoots you right here, it just takes out the two crewmen right here, and the turret is still more or less in operation. Or if it takes out your gunner or your commander by shooting your turret armor, these two guys are more or less still alive. And then you can just drive out on the difficult situation. And speaking of driving around this thing, the mobility on this thing is really not too bad, 260 horsepower, and even though it's carrying something under 20 tons, it does build up speed quite quickly. Not to mention your side of tracks are actually kind of wide, so driving off-road is really not a problem. But what makes this thing even better is the fact that you can drive backwards as fast as you can drive forwards. As you can see, 43 km an hour going forward and 43 km an hour going backwards. So yeah, what you can do is that you can just drive into an early sniping position, take out a few tanks, and then immediately just reverse back into cover. They won't have enough time to actually react to you. And then moving on the firepower on this thing, this is the 75mm 43M cannon, which is more or less the same 75mm as the Panzer IV-H, Panzer IV-J, Hetzer, Yak Panzer IV, you name it. Which at battle rating 4.0 is really devastating. And these are the rounds that will be firing. The 43M Panzer grenade. Armor piercing cap ballistic cap shell that pans up to 145mm of armor, with only 17 grams of explosive mass. And at battle rating 4.0, yeah, you can definitely penetrate every single tank, almost every single tank you come across. Now the unfortunate thing is that you don't have armor piercing composite rigid or APCR, just in case you need Jesus. So that's something you need to keep in mind, but the good news is that most of the time you'll be using this shell anyway. Now, one unfortunate thing is that you do have a machine gun, which is in the turret. Unfortunately, it's at the mercy of the turret, which 11 degrees a second, I mean, it's really not too bad. It's just that there has been moments where I wish the turret could turn a little bit faster. So if that's the case, you might want to bring a few high explosive or heat shells. Which one you want to bring is really up to you. But in the end, just bring a few of these, like maybe 2 or 5 of these high explosive type shells. Just in case you come across that annoying open top milk trucks or SPAs or whatever. Now the other aspects on the gun, you can carry only 32 rounds of ammunition. I just say bring everything because 32 rounds of ammunition isn't really a lot, unfortunately. And if you're thinking, what happens if I bring all 32 rounds? Would that make me a giant explosive accident waiting to happen? The answer is not really, because firstly 32 rounds isn't really a lot, and two is that, as you can see, they're actually quite spread out. So more than likely you actually die because of your crewman, you die because they knock out your crewman or whatever, instead of ammo rack. Just that considering how spacious it is back here, kinda makes me wonder why didn't they just put ammo back here. And then reloading rate, 7.3 seconds, and unfortunately I don't have expert crew on this thing. That's something you need to keep in mind. And that's something you need to keep in mind because at battle rating 4.0 and when you get down tiered, you will come across tanks that can fire with their reload as fast as 5 seconds instead. So yeah, 7.3 seconds is really not that great. And then moving on, the vertical guidance, you have negative 10 gun depression, which is very good. Which means that you should be able to find some sniping position and make use of it with your gun depression. Just be careful not to point your gun all the way down or all the way up because you do have a very slow vertical targeting speed. And finally, no gun stabilizer, but for some reason this tank doesn't really seem to need the gun stabilizer. Like, you can drive as fast as you can with this thing and the gun barely bounces. Which I highly suspect is something to do with the vertical speed, the vertical targeting speed as well as the suspension of this vehicle. So yeah, gun stabilizer, not really necessary. And so there you have it, this is the Hungarian Turan III. And as you can tell, it's pretty much like a Panzer 4H, minus the additional armor and all that. And yes, it's a very devastating tank to play at 4.0. And it's definitely one I will use to grind for event vehicles and whatnot, while not feeling a little too overpowered. Anyway, that's all I gotta say about the Turan III. Now let's take this thing on to battle. And hopefully I don't do too well in this thing that I accidentally bump this thing to 4.3. Oh boy. This one. In. Oh, you got it. Never mind. What is this thing? I thought that was an enemy tank. Damn it. Please, nobody to my right, nobody to my right. Thank you so much. And there's somebody to my right. Are you kidding me? Not again, buddy. friend in the M4. They're not the M4. Oh, he died. It's okay. He has a faster reload than me. This is not good. Come on. Oh. I'm dead. Oh, thank you. That's 7. Really? Oh, these are in the middle. These are in the gun reach. This KV2 has a clean shot. He just needs to hit my turret. Am I not dead? Oh god, this is SU-1 100. The guy I'm worried about. I don't like this.
Attention to the designated grid zone.
We've captured most of the strategic zones. Another zone captured, we have the advantage.
On this ridge, get me on this ridge.
Strategic zones are captured.
Oh. I keep hitting them. I keep hitting the trees, man. It's screwing me off. keep hitting the trees. I keep thinking my rounds are just going off. It's so annoying. Teammates are not helping me. Here we go. There's another. There's a fucking TV tank that is
Attention to the designated grid zone.
sitting in a corner position. That's gonna haunt me later on. Thank you. Come on, give me something. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're controlling the
Yeah, keep spraying.
Attention to the designated grid zone.
Come on, I need this. Oh, come on. Tutu, what are you doing?